I've divided this to 16, I think. You can do it, you can make bigger pieces if you want. I wouldn't make it much smaller than this because then it gets too hard to finish. Too hard to finish off the end because you have to punch a hole in it. So this is what you're starting with. And the nice thing about using a cup, as opposed to, there are projects you can do where you do them with pipe cleaners and different things. For weaving the sides, I know upstairs they're using that plastic raffia, but I really like yarn. I also find this is not cotton. This is just your basic, cheap, pretty good size, a little bigger than sport weight yarn. So when you're working on the project, longer is better. The longer your weavers are, the less times you have to add. Now we're going to start our piece. I like to find, because it's good to know where you start and stop, you can maybe take a pencil and put a little mark where you started. And if you make any changes, that's where you'll make your changes. So you take your wefts and look for, it doesn't have to be directly in the middle, because if you need to add, it's nice to not have to add to both sides of your weaver at the same time. So find your first warp, which is this one right here at your mark, right there at the mark, and put your yarn over it, just like that. So you've got it sticking out both sides. Now, the one in front is waiting, and this is the one we're working with. Now I take the worker, I go past the waiter, and around the next one, and I give it a little pull, right? Give it a little pull. Now this one becomes the waiter, and this one becomes the worker. Go to the next one, give it a little pull. Okay, this one's now waiting. He's waiting for his turn to go around. It's kind of like on the swings. Somebody's swinging and somebody's waiting. So this guy's waiting, and this guy is going around. He's going around. And now he's going to wait here for this guy to go around. So I'm going to keep going all the way around, just like this, right? You see how I'm pulling it right down to the bottom of the cut. Right down to the bottom of the cut. Because this is the very base one. And you want some good tension on it. You want to be careful not to, because it is a paper cup. You know, if you were working on cedar, spruce root, you would be able to pull really hard. But this is yarn and paper. So you want to pull, but not too terribly hard. Right? Okay, so now we've gone around one time. And we're gonna just keep going around. Here is an example. This one has been done already, of just the straight stitch around and around and around lots of times. So we're going to do it a little bit more so you can get the idea of how it works, right? So we still have our two strands. This is the waiting one, the one in the front. Now the one in the back passes it up and goes around, right? So they're crossing. You're alternating strings each time. Now this one's waiting and this one's working. Now you change strings. It goes to this one's waiting and this one's working, right? So you just keep alternating on around. Use some scissors and cut another piece. And you know, it's not the end of the world if it's too short. You can add. And it's not the end of the world if it's too long. You can take a pair of scissors and cut it off. So it's nice to have extra, because then, you know, adding is very doable, but it's also, you have to stop and add. So the fewer times you have to stop and add, the easier it is. Plus the less ends you have to deal with on the inside, okay? So we're to the point now though where we're gonna add. So this one, the first one in the line is your short one. This is your short one. The next one in the line is your long one. And the next one in the line is your new one. So it goes short, long, new, okay? Here's your short one, your long one, and in the very next spot, you put your new one. And you're just sticking that end in the middle. Don't worry about it. Don't fuss with it. Just stick it in there. And now that you've got all three of them in there, it looks different than it has, right? Because there's 3 instead of 2. That's only a short-lived thing. So now we take our short one, because it's the very first one and it's our worker, right? And we go around just like normal. And it comes out with the new one. They're sitting side by side in the same slot. Now we take our long one and we weave it just like normal. These are waiting. This one's working. Now we have 2 in there together, right? I'll put this over here so it's more obvious. We have 2 in there together. And you just pretend that they're one. These two are now just one. So these are working, this one's waiting, and it goes around just like one, right? Just like that. Now these two are waiting, and this one's working. What this is doing is it's continuing your weave, and it's locking in the new one. So now these two are working, that one's waiting, right on around. Once you get further up with your basket, find your end piece. So there's my end piece. I'll finish this off and call it my last row, right? So keep weaving on around until you get back to that one that you marked. In my case, it's coming up real soon here. Okay, so now we need to find a way to close the basket off. Not close it like a lid, but finish it so that the weaving doesn't come off the ends of your basket. So we'll find the end. See, here's that where I started and stopped. So I'm going to get to there, which is one more stitch right there. And now, I'm just going to trim it off. Get the smaller hole punch. This one's probably a little bit too big, so it won't be a very tight fit. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your hole punch, you go right down next to your weaving, and try to center it in your piece and punch a hole. You can see I've got that hole right there. Okay, so you're going to want to punch this hole all the way around on every warp, right? So I will get to it here and punch this. So once you've gotten all the way around, you're going to want to take your needle. So you take one of your strings, and you're going to sew around all of the holes. You're going in one and out the other. It's just straight sewing. You know, in a hole, out a hole, in the next hole. All the way around. So this is going to, this is going to hold your stitches on. Get all back to the beginning, right? And then take the other one, right? Okay, so then you've ended that one. So this is the one that you've sewn all the way around. Remember, we went in and out, in and out, in and out. We got all the way back to the beginning. Now we're going to take it around one that it went in. You went in, and now bring it back out through that middle part. Now we're going to take this, we go underneath all this yarn, slip it down there, we're hiding it. You're taking it and hiding it away, the end. This is the way you knot it off, right? So you slide it all the way down and pull that through, right? Wish we had some scissors. Oh, I do. Pull that all the way through, just like that. And it's all tied off, nice and tidy. Now you want to get rid of this leftover piece. And I'm just going to trim it off. Look real close. Not so close that I cut the yarn that it's next to, but really close. And it looks like it's not even there. All gone, right? So now we're going to do it with the other side. Take the other one that's left over, and we'll thread that needle. I recommend a needle that's got a really big eye so that it's easy to put through. Right. So now we're going to sew this. Now see how I went in this hole? I'm going to go out that hole with this one. So it's on the inside. And I'm going to go out that hole. Yeah. Okay. Out that hole and in this one. Out this hole and in this one. Out this hole. See, so it's just going the opposite direction from the one we went around before. And if you want to make your basket shorter than the whole cup, you can just weave up to as far as you want to and cut it off. So now we're back to the beginning again, and we're going to take this end just like we did the last one, poke it down through all of this yarn, and then cut it off with your scissors nice and close. Not so close, be careful, don't cut any of this yarn. Oops. You're all done. You have a basket that's all finished off on the top.